It's your boy Breakdowns with Jay, and we're going to talk about Justin Jefferson. And if I'm the Minnesota Vikings, I would trade Justin Jefferson. And I know from just hearing that, you would be like, you're crazy. He's a generational talent. He's probably, if he goes on the pace he's going, is going to be an all-time great, because what he's doing is just remarkable. He is literally an elite receiver in the game. And what he did this past season, I think, was the best receiving season, one of them of all time. The amount of games he missed to come back and still get over 1,000 and to do what he was doing, it's ridiculous. But if I was the Minnesota Vikings, I would trade him right now. His value sky high, and the amount of picks and players you would probably get, it would probably beat out the Tyreek Hill trade to the Miami Dolphins. And I think you would get so much in return. But here's the caveat. You're not going to probably have the money on the receiving team to pay him. This is where we're getting into a problem, especially with the salary cap. And I know it went up like $8 million, but this is going to get really weird on how to pay a talent like this, because he's going to command maybe quarterback money. Maybe he's probably gonna want to get well past what the receiver market is right now, because I know Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, and guys like that are, the top paid at the position. He's gonna get probably way more than that, and that receiving team, if you want to go to a contender, let's look at the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow just got paid. T. Higgins is just tagged and probably is playing his final season in Cincinnati because they don't have the funds to pay him, or they're probably going to tag and trade him because they've already tagged him. And that's what's going to end up happening, because they have to pay Jamar Chase, and he's going to want a lot of money. And to add that in there, because they already have Boyd walking, or you look at the Kansas City Chiefs, they're in a situation with Chris Jones. They're probably going to have to let him walk. They don't have the funds to pay him. They just tagged L'Jarius Sneed and trying to get an extension with him. And that looks like it may not work, and they'll have to trade him. And it's just looking like some of these teams that are contenders are probably not going to be able to trade for a talent like Justin Jefferson. It's probably going to have to be a team that's up and coming, that has a lot of money, like the Commanders, or maybe the Panthers, or maybe some middle of the road type of team. And I don't know if Justin Jefferson's wanting to go to a middle of the road team. He probably wants to play for a contender, unless he's willing to take a pay cut and go win some rings. And it's going to be very interesting. But I would do it as the Minnesota Vikings off of that alone. You would get a historic haul for him. You just would. It would trump anything that has ever been given for a receiver. And then you got to look at it from Kirk Cousins' view. Kirk Cousins is probably not going to be with the team. He's an older quarterback. Resume is iffy, but he's still a really producive type of quarterback. He produces, and they're not going to have the funds to keep him, as they're trying to keep JJ and Jay Jettas and everything. And it's just going to be a situation where, as Justin Jefferson's probably not going to be happy playing with a Nick Mullins type of quarterback again. And that didn't go well. And I don't blame him. And I don't know what you do, but this is the equivalent of like Megatron in his prime being traded or something. It would be very fascinating, but I would trade, especially if it's to trade to get the number 3 pick from the Patriots, because maybe they want to go with receiver, maybe try Mac Jones one more time with the new regime in New England, or maybe trade up with a top 5 pick team. I don't know what is going to happen, but it's going to be very interesting in these coming weeks to see kind of what happens with this situation, because it's very intriguing, the receiver market, because you got guys that are going to be must watch for, and you look at this upcoming draft. You got Malik Neighbors, you got Keon Coleman, you got some guys in this draft as well. This is a receiver filled draft. And then you got on the free agency market and guys to be there, T. Higgins as a tradable target. You got Mike Evans, maybe Jay Jettas. and stuff like that. So this is going to be very interesting. But if I was the Minnesota Vikings, I would make the trade, because you're going nowhere. You already were doing somewhat of a rebuild with your defense anyway this past season, with letting go Eric Kendricks and letting go of some other guys like Pat Pete and stuff like that. So I just don't think you're in a position where first you're gonna be strapped with all your money going to a receiver and not helping your team. So I would let go of Justin Jefferson. So tell me what you guys think in the comments, and it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. It's your boy Breakdowns with Jay. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'm out.